Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Rafa. In this lesson, I'm gonna teach about past models. Students are from second baccalaureate. The level of the students or level of proficiency it is B1.1. So now I'm gonna explain or I'm gonna tell some materials didactics that I'm gonna use for the lesson. In this lesson I'm gonna use a computer, markers, tape, board, flashcard, and word sheets. So I'm gonna explain why I'm gonna use this kind of materials. Well, I'm gonna show you some flashcard. As you can see, flashcards contains a lot of pictures in which students can give their speculations, their deductions about the pictures associated with the past models. For example, one student could say they must have been a couple is one simple example. So now this is the reason because I'm gonna use flashcards for this lesson. Also, I'm gonna use different types of worships. Here, for example, I have a type of worships in which students have to cut off, and for a card which contained a sentences and students practice make discussions, make a conversations, make some dialogues, conversations and discussions. This is the objective. They use this kind of worship. Also, I have another kind of worship in which students have to write the name of the students who make a better or good past models after the speaker read one sentence like this. You see a student chatting on their phone. Who is it? One student can say, Mr. Alvarez could have been. Yes? This is the objective to use this kind of material. Also, I have another time worship, in which students have to think neither individually or in pairs. But before doing this exercise, they have to read and match with the appropriate answer. As you can see, we have a situation and we have two possible answers. And the reason I'm gonna use this kind of worship is that I want to evaluate my students about what they could understand and what I have to provide feedback to them. Yes, it is a quiz. So now I'm gonna explain how I am gonna perform my lesson plan. This is my lesson plan number 1. And the anticipatory set, I'm gonna excuse me, I'm gonna give the students a flashcard. No, sorry, a worksheet, in which students have to cut off with their scissors. Students have to cut all these sentences and put them on the table, and then I'm gonna ask students to work in groups of 3 students. One student read, the rest of the students have to give the speculation. The students who give the best speculation wins the game. Then I'm gonna perform an activity. This is a main teaching input. To perform this step, I'm gonna explain some grammar rules here. For example, we need a subject, auxiliary, have, past participle, and complement. And students have to write in their notebooks. Then, in order to practice, I'm gonna invite some students come to the board and show them some lectures. I'm gonna post this in the board here, for example, the board, and I show you here. And students come here, one student, for example, yeah, and say, one student could say, she could might have been wine husband. Could be a speculation, a deduction. This is the objective to use this, no? It's a very useful material. We have another, students have to do another speculation. For example, there is a lady who can sleep. For instance, she could have been very tired. The students are using the past modals. It's very useful, this material. During this activity, also, I'm going to be very careful about pronunciation, participation of the students. Yes. Okay. So now I'm gonna talk about modeling. What is the modeling? The modeling, well, all the activities that I have done or we have done with my students and the exercises, we will help them to continue developing the rest of the activities that we are gonna perform in the rest of the hour class. So now we are gonna to perform the guide practice. So now I am gonna give my student a worksheet in which they have to work in pairs and read one speculation and give their deduction. No, for example, one student can read, I think Steven drove to work today. And one student can find the possible answer. It could be a ghost is a possible answer. Yes, very nice. So now I'm gonna explain the A step. This is independence practice. Here students have to do another activity and students have to write the name about the students who get the best answer. For example, someone isn't in class today. Who is it? My student remember how we have to form the past models. I have to use this. It's very useful. And to perform the ninth step is assessment. I'm gonna give students another title worksheet, which I have students create and some sentences and complete using must have, might have, should have, and can have. Very nice. Then they have to share their answer and everyone is going to provide the feedback. The 10th step is closing review and following up, in which I'm gonna choose one student who didn't participate a lot in class to give some grammar rules to form the past models, and also I'm gonna provide the feedback to them. That's all for the lesson, teacher. I hope you like my explanation, how I could teach this lesson in my future English classes. Thank you so much.